Hi guys, I thought that I would give a quick update on Jackson's IEP situation. Last December, we had an IEP, and because we actually bought a townhouse in like Temecula, Winchester. The girls are watching their tablets and eating cereal, um, and he was doing so well that we all decided to take away his one-on-one aid, his behavior aid. I was totally fine with that. Obviously, the goal um, with special needs children is to integrate them into needing no services and just being typical as their typical peers are. Well, I was assured at the time that should he need to have the aid, oh, it's no problem to put it back in if we need it. Well, he had an incident at the end of last school year where I got a call 2 days in 1 week that Jackson was in the principal's office for various behaviors, mostly pertaining to Jackson doesn't always understand when people are playing and when people aren't. So that's why it's really difficult for me to let him play tag or anything that involves any kind of hitting, is because he doesn't quite understand. He doesn't mean to hurt people necessarily, but he doesn't understand the difference. Okay, I'll get you some in just a minute, okay? Um, so that's always difficult, and he was having difficulty with that at school. Well, the second time I got a call, she said, well, if the behavior doesn't get better, then he will be suspended. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's had two incidences and now he's going to be suspended. And there's no, I mean, again, he's on an IEP. There's no talk of any solution. It just goes directly to suspension. So I was upset. And I immediately called another emergency IEP meeting. And I said, okay, well, I want the aid put back on. There's no way a first grader should be suspended if they're on an IEP, and we know that he's had behavior issues in the past. Well, come to find out, they have to do this whole assessment called a SKIA to see if he qualifies again. So this whole, oh, it's simple enough to put back on was not true at all. I was not happy. So it ended up being where I spoke with somebody at the district office, and she said, well, let's just put an aide on him for recess and lunch. I was fine with that, but I was told that wasn't possible. So she told me it was possible. We had the IEP, we added some positive behavior goals into his behavior plan, and I go to sign the new IEP, and they completely left the part out about him having supervision during recess and lunch. Well, then they wouldn't add it, saying it's not possible. So I refused to sign it. And at the beginning of this year, there was a new principal at the school, and it's no problem. I said, I don't need it to be the same person every day. I just need somebody to be watching him. Because their solution was, excuse me, well, we'll introduce him to the noon duty aides, and if he has an issue, he can go to them. And I said, well, if he knew how to go to them with issues, we wouldn't be having these problems. So it's so interesting to me that it's so difficult to get these things that you know your child needs. And I know that the schools strive for least restrictive environments. So basically they want the least amount of services given to children, and the reasoning is that we want them to be able to be as independent as possible. I love that. But come on. That was the whole reason for the IEP. So ended up didn't sign anything over the summer, and then now he does have these things in place, but only until I think it's November 24th. That is when we're supposed to have our new IEP. But they never mentioned, oh, you have to have your IEP before this or they run out. But they're only in place legally until November 24th. So it's just So he has what he needs now. So far this school year, he's in second grade. He's been doing well. Hopefully, it'll continue, obviously. But he's been getting the supervision during recess and lunch. He has what are called movement breaks because of his ADHD, where if he needs to get up and walk around, then he is allowed to do that. He has somebody check in on him and the teacher to make sure that he doesn't need help with um, focusing on his tasks at hand a few times a day. And I also recently got him this necklace. It's called jewelry because he has sensory processing where he'll take his whole shirt and he'll put it in his mouth and he'll chew on it. Or his cups. He'll chew directly through the straw of his cups. And so I'm hoping that this will also help him focus because he'll have something to chew on. I don't know. I'll update you when I can about that. But that is Jackson's IEP update for now. As always, if you have any questions, post them in the comments down below. I will talk to you next time. Bye.